Thank you very much, Nick. It's good to be here, and thanks very much for the invite, and good day to everybody. It's good to see you, and what I'd like to talk about is my assessment of the COVID-19 situation was critical. As I have a touch of stage 4 cancer, I needed to be careful. In fact, super careful. I thought through the problem and decided that COVID-19 time was to be taken up with a game. What is it that we like about sport? Just imagine if you went to the MCG or another ground to watch a final of a football match. Along with 100,000 other people, you arrived, the announcement came that the game would be different. And it would be different because there would be no referee, there'd be no lines, no goals. Each team could kick whatever they wanted to, and everyone could just assume a score and just sit back and enjoy yourself. Well, you wouldn't do it. You'd hate it. You'd just think that was terrible. I doubt if anyone would be happy. So what is it that makes a game successful? Is it because of the time limit or the obstacles like lines on the playing field, the umpires, the referees, the rules, the score? The immediacy of the score is very important. What was it that I had to do to turn my business day into a game? A day with enthusiasm, excitement, motivation, rules, a time limit, method of measurement, a score, all of which you will find in a game. As Zig Ziglar used to say many times, many of us have heard him talk, and he'd say, you can be either a meaningful specific or a wandering generality. I chose to be a meaningful specific. I needed a method to make certain that these days were full of meaningful activity. I needed discipline and control, and I needed to improve in many areas, we all do. This would include creating new habits. Only a habit replaces a bad habit. That's a good habit, replaces a bad habit. And we know how difficult it is to create new habits. To check my progress, I needed to score my activity. I wrote down all the things which I wanted to do, should do, might do, and then all the habits which I wanted to create. Each item was given a score. The score depended upon the importance of the activity. For example, I get up at 5 a.m. If I get up at 5 a.m., I give myself 5 points. If I get up at 1 minute past 5, I get 0 points. There are points for business activities, personal development, social contribution, social media involvement, exercise, relaxation, focus, staying in touch with my business associates and my mentors, learning from experts, expressing gratitude, planning the day, and so on. I initially needed a score of 100. If I did that, I would have had a successful day. I can prioritize my rewards depending on the importance of the activity. For example, if I want to change a habit, a higher reward. An example of this might be, if I have dinner with my wife, Bev, I get no points. But if I have my dinner with my wife and there's no television going, then I get points. Why? Well, I want to change that habit. And that's what I do. I use that as a method of changing habits. And they can be business habits or personal habits. It doesn't make any difference. We all work better when we're rewarded. Giving yourself points is a reward. Receiving commission or receiving a fee is not really a reward because there's no immediacy attached to it. We get it in some statement down the track sometime. We don't know what it is. We don't remember the feelings and the achievement. We don't feel any of that when we receive that later on in life. Habits are received by creating rewards. We see that with animal training, for example. When you know there is a reward, you keep trying. This is how new habits and disciplines are created. Everything worthwhile, anything worth doing, can have a reward attached to it. The mind does not distinguish between the rewards. It does not have to have a value. It can be a paperclip. It can be an M&M, which is a good idea unless you want to lose weight. It can be anything, but it's got to be physical and you've got to actually do something about it. And so you reward the activity, not the result. You don't reward the sale, you organise everything that leads to the sale, such as all the prospecting, the calling on the prospect, the interviewing of the prospect and so much, but not so much the resultant sale. Without the initial activity, the sale would never take place. Therefore, reward the most important things associated with that progress. Reward yourself for any activity which is critical to your success. Why does it work? The mind loves rewards, just like animal training rewards. At the appropriate time, it brings better results. And the importance is to reward yourself when it happens, not up here in the mind, but actually physically doing something. It can be writing it down. It can be moving a paper clip from one side of the table to another. It can be a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a Ferrari. It doesn't have to be a new car, a new house, or anything like that. In fact, if you keep it at a small, sensible level, it is far more enjoyable. After all, our businesses are all about results. Results don't take place unless there is appropriate and meaningful activity. Just thinking about it does not cut it. You just think, gee, I had a great day. Nothing, that's not good enough. You've got to reward yourself for that. You must physically give yourself something. It doesn't matter what the reward is, as I mentioned. If you're feeling just happy that you've had a great day, it won't mean anything in the long run. It has to be something which is measurable. So we know what gets measured gets done. We know that. Make it happen. We need to have it, the action. We need the activity. We need anything which can be classed as a success to be measured. Again, the immediacy of the reward is important. You can control this, unlike those other things like commissions and fees and the like. Now, just in summary, has it worked? Well, yes, it has. And for most people in this particular webinar, let's say I've lost 3 kilos of weight during COVID. And that's simply brought about by the fact that I had in my goals, in my reward system, rewards for doing the right thing. Now, I know that chocolate is a critical food when it comes to life. Well, I also know that if I eat a lot of chocolate, it's not very good for me. So I had a reward for not eating chocolate. But my exercise activity increased. I had more focus on my overall health. I was more effective in mentoring, more effective in getting education and taking courses and getting involved with new social media skills and the like. There are so many achievements which I made simply because I turned my life, an unknown length of period with COVID, I turned it into a game. Now, interestingly enough, finishing it up, this idea came from a speaker at the 1980 $1 Million Roundtable in New Orleans. Now, I don't see much grey hair up there, but at any rate, not many of you are there. But he was a fabulous speaker a psychologist, a wonderful person. I've got to know him and I spend time with him. I visit him every time I go to America. He's 84, 85 years old. I still see him. So please remember this. The continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. So said Winston Churchill. And after all, it's all a personal choice. Thank you.